Hello from my house to yours. Welcome to EMS at Sea Level. I am joined by Bruno Racault from All Circuits. Bruno, it's always a pleasure to chat and catch up with you. We spoke a little bit last week, and I was really interested in the continued growth and success you seem to be having in the automotive sector. Much of Europe's EMS that are focused on EMS seem to be in the doldrums at the moment, but you seem to be bucking that trend. What do you put that down to?
We have mixed signal. Okay, actually today we're talking on the. I don't know if you heard about the European community is deciding if we'll stop the sale of the car in 2035 or not. Okay, it's happened now that we're at the middle of the water. Half of the car which are sold in Europe are either hybrid or EV, full EV. So it's not all, but it's still 50%. So the growth in electronics for EV and for hybrid is pretty important. And we are not that much been able to make it. So it's definitely a growth for us. However, it's not as we were expecting. It's only 50%. Most of the EV in Europe are coming from either American or Chinese car. So the European market for the European is smaller than we were expecting. Okay, so that's one point. Actually, but it's still a growth for us. The problem we're seeing, it's more with our former customer, which are still in the thermal business. They are starting to disappear, and we can have what I call a butterfly effect. If they go down and there is too many going down, we can be affected. So it's, as strange it could appear, it's now dangerous for us to deal with those guys because we do not know if they will survive or not. So the market is very, very special, and we have to be very cautious. Now the market is there. I don't know if we'll be full EV in 2035, but we're already 50%, so it's already quite a lot of board to be produced. Now our next challenge is to offer our service to those Chinese car manufacturers coming in Europe, and I hope or expect to be one of those. Of their supplier to be able to provide the board that they will need in the future.
Yeah, and certainly the DBG merger that was completed middle of this year is going to be a big help for that. And I think you being able to offer automotive to their customers is a real value add.
Yeah, it's the idea. First, having a Chinese shareholder is helping us to understand their mentality, their way of doing things, and so on, which is completely different of the European customer, totally different. And secondly, they are used to deal with those car manufacturers, so now I'm expecting them to help us to provide us a service to them. Will it work? I don't know yet. We're in the middle of the battle today. We're cutting quite a lot of board for this car manufacturer. I cannot tell you.
Time will tell.
Right now, if you work on that.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that's interesting from the merger is it's kind of added two really interesting global footprints that didn't particularly overlap. You've added the Americas and Europe, and obviously your North African activity to what they've had. They've already expanded into new markets like India and Vietnam, which I think are really interesting. When you look forward to the kind of EMS provider you've become as a group, what do you see as the benefits there, and what do you see as the things you need to add?
With the recent change on tariff, on market, on different sector, you need to be global now. You need to be able to manufacture in Europe, in China. More and more customer will be purchasing at local level. When I mean by local, is that continent level. Okay, so now that we are global, we can provide this service. We need also to be competitive, definitely. Okay, our customers are expecting us to be competitive and to be more competitive in the future. So this alliance is giving us the size, is giving us access to the price of the Chinese equipment, which are really competitive. It's giving us also access to the component market in China, where we have to be careful because some components are okay for the automotive market, some are not. But it's our value added, I will say, in this alliance. We can also help our Chinese colleague to make the right choice.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of market segment, which one will be the most profitable? It's a good question. We have defense with growing up in Europe with the Ukraine war, definitely. But we're not too much in this sector for other reason. There is one which is really ramping up, which is the data center, which has been we need them mostly through AI, but we have more and more communication, more and more usage of our systems. So there is a huge demand here. So it's good news. It's also good news in forms that people are competing between each other. So we have all the big guys which are entering in this market, like Amazon. I guess they are the Xerox copy Amazon, or they want to offer the EMS want to offer their service. So it might be an opportunity for them, but it might be also an opportunity for us to get their customers they are entering to compete with. Okay,
so the trickle effect.
They are shuffling the card, and the market is moving. Last but not least, the automotive market, despite what you're seeing, is still interesting when you are in the EV business. We are at the beginning of the adventure, I think, within the electricity, and now with the 800 volt, with the rapid charging and so on, we'll have a lot more opportunity. So
I think there are lots of markets there. I think what's really interesting in the EV market is some of the relationships with the industry that the EMS industry has changed. So working direct with the car makers themselves has given additional opportunities, and that's been an interesting change.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's those car manufacturers, they were used to make the engine basically, and they was subcontracting all the other part of the car. Now that they lose the thermal engine, they're really losing a lot, and they're really losing even their existence. So they are trying to gain more knowledge through having more dependence or knowledge on the electronics. So that's why we're interesting for them, because they are more and more using the board or combining, making the electronics of the engine, and they are looking for guys which are a pure manufacturer to produce those board. That's really why I see the limit right now. The car manufacturer, they are buying those boards, but they are not entering in those business, but they are using those boards to fill their plant. In the plant which were used to do thermal engine.
Yeah, it's fascinating, isn't it? Because as you simplify that supply chain, i.e. the EMS working direct with the with the car manufacturer, you're also moving where some of that IP around manufacturing lives, and you're also perhaps moving where some of that margin lives. So it's an interesting change in dynamic. When you look forward to 2026, I guess we're expecting more political disruptions of whatever kind, whether it's tariffs or anything else. What else do you see as the key challenges?
It's a good question, and the answer is that we don't know. I don't have a crystal ball, so that means we have to be pragmatic and we have to be reactive. So I'm building our company to be able to provide service, react as fast as I can. Will it be in the car manufacturer? Will it be in the data center? Will it be in the normal 3C business? I have no idea, but we need to be ready.
Yeah. So it's creating a really agile business that can respond to whatever comes along.
So I'm sorry not being able to answer you, not having a crystal ball, but I have to recognize that it's even worse than it was last year.
Yeah, it's even less predictable. Yeah, right. I think it's interesting though, Bruno. I think you make a very good point that the business model going forward isn't one that is, we're rigidly in this market, we're in this market, we do this in this geography. It's a company that's agile, adaptable, and has options. And the DBG partnership gives you more options.
Yeah. It's giving you option for the location, it's giving you option for the business sector, it's giving you option for even the machine, the manufacturing equipment you want to purchase. We have to be very agile, very flexible. Okay, that's the only lesson I will learn from this 2025 past year.
Yeah, this experience. So yeah, right. Well, onwards and upwards. We'll see what happens in 2026 from an operational point. I think you're ahead of the game in terms of automation. I think we're going to see more of a push on automation, more use of AI in the factory. And I think that's going to be an interesting factor that affects your operation across the globe.
Well, actually, that's where we are putting our bet to automation, quality, and so on. But will it be the right bet? I have no idea. I hope it will be, because otherwise it will certainly disappear. But one of our motto is also to be flexible in the competitivity. So that means you have to be cheap, but to be able to grab the business and to please or to serve the customer, which have no idea where they want to go, which is another point.
Yeah.
So it's X2 unpredictability, which is what I say even worse.
Yeah.
So nobody knows where. Nobody knows which product will be sold. Nobody knows which car will be successful.
Yeah. But I think if you can maintain that ideal of being a adaptable business that's agile, that's fast moving, and that is heavily automated, so you can leverage the talent you've got in the right way, I think you're in a really good position.
Yeah, and it's going faster and faster, and it will be even worse in the future. So that means you really need to be agile and powerful in the agility.
Yeah, absolutely. Bruno, fascinating conversation. Look forward to seeing you in person in the new year, maybe in CES in Las Vegas, if not in your facility in France. In the meantime, thanks so much for chatting.
Thanks, Phil.